Hey, it's Pete with GCI Turf. Hope you're doing good. And welcome back to part 5, maybe? 4 or 5, something like that, on sprayer calibration. So let's dig in. Okay, so if you remember the last video, we talked about sprayer tips and the orifice size and how that relates to pressure and volume, and how to choose one and how not to choose one, where drift is concerned and spray pattern is concerned. So I got a little example of that right here, because today we're going to calibrate a battery powered spray. So I got 2 different spray tips here. I have this orange one, which is a very small orifice size, and then I have the gray, which is a larger orifice size. And I'm only doing this for an example. I want to show you this battery powered sprayer. I cannot change the pressure on it. It's preset from the factory. There's nothing in the world I can do to change that. I don't want to change it. I want to leave it just like it is. So I want to make my spray tip match my pressure so that I get a good pattern with minimal to no drift. So check it out. I hope the camera will do this justice. I'm gonna do my best with this. But let's hold that right here and go. All right, you can see all the fine mist. See all that real super duper fine mist right there? Now this spray tip would probably work well if I had a pump that produced a little less pressure. That's a little too much overspray for me. So I'm gonna pop this orange one out, and I'm gonna pop the gray one in. And again, this goes back to your constant and variable thing that we talked about in previous videos. And of course, I'm gonna put the link to all this entire sprayer calibration series in the description. So if you're just checking this out for the first time, you can go back and watch the whole deal. But let's do it with the gray nozzle now. And again, don't go out and buy the gray and orange nozzle. This is simply trying to prove a point here. Now, look at the difference. That's a major difference right there in the amount of drift you're getting. You're getting a much heavier droplet because the orifice size, or the hole size in the end of this spray tip, is actually bigger than the one right here. It's just simple math is all it is. So I know a lot of you have been waiting on this, so let's get this thing calibrated. Okay, so in doing this, we have one constant. And what that constant is the pressure this backpack sprayer or this hand can battery sprayer is putting out. That's not going to change unless the battery gets really weak. And I obviously would recommend you use these things with a full charge on battery, or a battery that's not weak. So that's one of the constants out of the 4. The other one is going to be your speed, and your speed is determined by how fast you walk. That's why you need to practice, because you need to walk a consistent speed. The third thing is height, and of course your height determines your width. And what I mean by that is I'm holding the sprayer closer to the ground, and you see my spray width. I'm going to take one step back, and I'm going to hold it higher. Now you see my spray width. My width is different. All right, so when you determine how high to hold this spray tip off the ground, let 2 things factor in on that. One is the spray pattern you're trying to achieve. All right, if you want a little bit wider one, of course you hold it a little higher. If you want a little bit lower pattern, you hold it a little lower. Common sense. For this demonstration, I'm going to hold it where it's comfortable for me. I'm gonna pretend that I'm spot spraying a 3-way herbicide in a yard, so I don't actually have to have it down low. I don't have to have it up high. It's just going to kind of be a medium height, and This is roughly roughly 16 inches off the ground. Okay, so now when I'm walking, am I going to look here and try to make sure that thing's 16 inches off the ground? Because when I step, I kind of go up and down. It may fluctuate a little bit. Well, I'm not really worried about that. And here's what I mean. If I'm at 16 inches off the ground, look at my hand. See where my hand is at? I can feel my hand against my hip right there. So I know that if I put my hand up here, I just raise it. If I go down here, I lower it. I drop the spray tip. So the way I'm going to try and keep this consistent is I'm going to keep my hand right here on my hip in about the same location, give or take an inch. You know, don't get so tied up in being so technical about it. An inch isn't going to make a difference. Well, in some things it does, but in spraying, it's not going to make a difference right here. I assure you of that. So the first thing I need to do is measure my width. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold here, and I'm going to spray for 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to measure how wide this spray pattern is. And I'm at about 40, I'm going to call that 40 inches. 40 inches wide is what I'm able to do here. And now if I were going to hold it lower, and I did it, then I would want to measure that width. All right, so that's 24 inches. I tell you what, for easy math, let's use the 24-inch pattern. That means I'm holding it down here right around my pocket where I put my pocket knife in, right around the very bottom of my pocket. Now, if you're taller than me or shorter than me, I'm 6'1", this may be different for you. So it all depends on your height. But for easy math, we'll do this. We're 24 inches wide. Keep that in the back of your mind. Okay, so we're 24 inches wide. That's 2 feet. We're 2 feet wide spray pattern with our nozzle approximately, let's see, we were 16 inches up here, so that's probably going to be more like 12 inches off the ground. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start back here. I'm going to hold it at my correct height, and I'm going to walk that way while spraying. Now what I'm going to try to do is keep a consistent speed, because if I'm walking too fast, my coverage may not be the greatest, or if I'm walking too slow, I may be putting too heavy of a coverage. And that all depends on you. That's the cool thing about this. You can fix this the way you want it. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to walk. All right, so we know we're 2 feet wide, and I'm 24 feet long. So remember, 24 inches, that's 2 feet. 2 feet wide, 24 feet long, that's 48 square feet. 24 times 2 is 48. So we're at 48 square feet right here in this pattern you see. Now what I need to do is time myself going from here to there. So I'm gonna go through the motions with the sprayer and re-walk this pattern here, and I'm gonna time it. Now I'm gonna count out loud. I don't have another watch. I'm videoing with my iPhone, so I don't have another stopwatch. So I'm just gonna count out loud and try to be as consistent as I can be for that. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 seconds. And what we need to do is we know we're 24 foot, we're 2 foot wide, 24 foot long, and we can walk that in 8 seconds. So we need to time 8 seconds to see how much liquid we're putting out in that 48 square feet. So here we go. I'm gonna try to count as consistent as I can, just like before. I'm gonna put my hand over this so it doesn't splash out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. We are at, let me see, I gotta pick it up to see it. We are at 8 ounces. So we now know that we can walk, let me rephrase that, because I just know that somebody's gonna grab their battery powered backpack sprayer and mix it by what I'm telling you in this video that my sprayer's doing. You're gonna go out and apply something and screw it up. So reset on that, clear your mind. I walked 8 seconds in 24 feet. And I sprayed it 2 foot wide, and I put out 8 ounces. I don't know what your sprayer is capable of doing. That's the whole reason for this video, so that you can do this yourself and figure it out what your sprayer, your speed, your height, all that cool stuff is. So you need to get your pencil out and a piece of paper, because we're going to do some math now, and we're going to figure out how this adds up to 1,000 square feet. Okay, so we ended up with 2 foot wide, 24 feet long, 48 square feet. Length times width equals your square footage. And we put out 8 ounces of product, finished product. Now that was water I'm calibrating with, and I recommend you calibrate with water. But you can go back to video number 3, I believe, or 2, something like that, and find out what your carrier is versus your finished solution, and you can apply that math to this. Now, you'll find this quite funny and quite ironic, but when I was a senior in high school, I was in pre-algebra. When I was in the 9th grade, I was in basic math, and it took me 3 years to get out of basic math. So I graduated from basic math as a junior, got into pre-algebra as a senior, and I just thought I was the man because I did that. I absolutely despised math in school. I hated it with a raw passion. Numbers bored me. And I found it really ironic and kind of funny, humorous, that now, day in and day out, I do some very, very serious math, and I absolutely love it. So that's kind of the funny for the day. So length times width, 48 square foot, 8 ounces. Now, I don't want to confuse you, but look, whoop, I'm going to mark that out. The reason I'm doing that is I want to keep this simple. I'm going to show you, I'm going to change these numbers a little bit simply for easy math. So we're going to keep our same 2 foot wide times 25 foot length equals 50 square feet. But we're going to keep that same 8 ounces for the example. And again, the only reason I'm doing this is to make the math easy for me, to keep the video a little shorter too. So when you do yours, if you have a, this is a good rule of thumb too, I'm teaching myself right now. For good math, go 2 foot wide, if that's your spray pattern, and walk 25 feet. Measure out a 25 foot length and walk that length just so it makes your math easy. And then you walk out and see how long it takes you to spray that 25 foot length. So we got 2 times 25 equals 50. Now, these two numbers mean nothing right now, the length and the width. I could care less about them moving forward. These are the only two numbers I need. I know that I'm putting 8 ounces of product on 50 square feet, or 8 ounces of finished solution on 50 square feet. So let's go up with this. 50 times 2 is 100. 8 times 2 is 16. So that is the exact same ratio. I'm now putting out 16 ounces per 100 square feet. All right, let's multiply that times 10. Well, what do you know? There's your 1,000. There's your 1,000 square feet. All right, so in this example, we're putting out, we've ratioed this up or multiplied this up to get to 1,000 square feet. That's why I changed this number back here to 25 instead of 24 for basic, simple math. Keep it easy. So now I know I'm putting out 160 ounces per 1,000 square feet. We need to turn this into gallons. So what we're going to do is divide 160 by 128. There's 128 ounces in 1 gallon of liquid. Now, when you divide 160 by 128, you get 1.25. I have effectively and accurately calibrated this sprayer. I now know that I put 1.25 gallons of finished solution per 1,000 square feet. So I have one comment about a boom type sprayer for a backpack. So this would kind of be the setup. I think this is a Solo maybe. I think you can pick it up about any hardware store that sells the Solo brand. And the difference is it has 2 spray tips on it, two spray nozzles, spray tips. Well, there's absolutely no difference in calibrating this versus one spray tip. You still get, your fan pattern is going to come out here and out here. So you would measure the entire width of the spray pattern times your 25 feet. And then when you measure the volume coming out, you stick 2 measuring cups and you measure both of them, and you get a volume over here, a volume over here. If things are right, they should be nearly identical on both sides, and then you combine them into 1 cup and take the total for the 2 instead of just the 1, and then all the math is exactly the same. So inside our academy, GCITurfAcademy.com, we offer this battery sprayer that I've been using today in this video, and we also offer our sprayer nozzle assembly that I've put together that will give you a much faster spray time than just 24 inches wide. You can cover a lot of ground in a short amount of time. And if you like this kind of stuff, like, subscribe, all that cool stuff. And tomorrow's video is going to be about jar testing and compatibility. And some of you may, whoop, what the heck is that? Well, it's a pretty big deal when you're talking about all this sprayer calibration and all this spray stuff. That's a big deal. So stay tuned for tomorrow's video on jar testing. And I appreciate you guys, man, a whole lot, man. This means a lot that you take the time out of your day and watch me talk about this stuff. I really think it's pretty cool. Thank you.